All right, good morning. Larry Krueger here with your Pig and a Pickle Krug Show 49er video as we preview Niners Raiders in preseason game number 2 from Las Vegas. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Great barbecue. You'll love it. Also, thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're down in the Monterey Peninsula, on the Monterey Peninsula in Pacific Grove, 205 Cypress Avenue. Anthony Catania is at 831-521-5264. All right, let's talk a little bit about Niners and Raiders, preseason game number 2. And we're getting it today. I think, here's what I want to see, or who I want to see and what I want to see. One, Brock Purdy in the first team offense. No Trent Williams, but Brock Purdy probably out there without Trent Williams anyway. Can they drive the ball? Can they put points on the board? The 49er offense scored 7 points in the first game and didn't look very sharp after that first opening scoring drive. So can the Niners, with Brock Purdy at the helm, with the first team offense, sort of, with some starters playing initially, can they drive the ball? Can they score points? Can they look sharp? Can they make some progress? Offensive football is about timing. And it's about cohesion, and it's about reps and field work together. So you do need some reps to kind of, just smooth out the rough edges and figure out the communication. There's a lot of new receivers. There's always questions and things to the whole thing has to kind of come together. All 11 parts have to kind of fit perfectly. So defensive football is about effort and accountability, and I don't really need to see the defensive guys play that much. But the offensive guys, I think, do need a little bit of time to kind of build that continuity, build that cohesion, build that timing. So I want to see Brock Purdy look sharp tonight or today. The rest of it, I want to see, it's just about please avoid injuries. And let's take a look at some of the great young gems that this personnel department has discovered this offseason. Let's go right through it. I think this is Cory Ker's day today. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is Cory Ker day. You have Jordan James out, Garendo's out, CMC, if he's going to play at all, I'd be shocked. So it's Cory Ker and Patrick Taylor and whoever else. And Cory Ker is looked really good in camp. He hasn't had that bust out series of runs and that one game that just says, absolutely, this guy's on your team. In my mind, he absolutely is. But some people still, heck, I just saw Lombardi did a 53-man roster breakdown the other day, and he had Cory Ker cut. He thought Cory Ker was going to get cut. And that's just baffling to me because I think Cory Ker, to me, looks like a really solid NFL back. If he had a weakness, it would be one thing, but he really doesn't. He's a very efficient back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's shown that in this camp. He had a very high pass blocking grade in the first preseason game against Denver. So I think Cory Ker is a complete back. I think he's been a really good football player for a long time. And I think the 49ers lucked out because for whatever reason, this guy went undrafted despite being one of the most productive and reliable running backs in all of college football last year. They landed him as an undrafted player. They've watched him break out this summer. And there's no doubt he's going to make the 53-man roster, and I think that gets solidified today with his performance against the Raiders. It's a big day for Alfred Collins today. C.J. West is out. Niners have a bunch of injuries on the defensive front. Collins is going to get a ton of run. He's going to get as many snaps as he can handle. Saleh said he's coming on. He looks better and better every single day. He's getting his legs under him. He's healthy, and he's ready to roll. So this is a big day for Alfred Collins. Can Collins get out there and show that he's got the kind of endurance, physical endurance, to play a 4-quarter football game in the middle and be a key component? He's a gigantic man with a ton of talent and a ton of upside, but we're going to find out with no C.J. West and with the Niners depleted, can he handle a full complement of snaps, and how effective is he in the second half? When he's tired? Can he play effective football at defensive tackle when he's tired? Can he play at all when he's tired? What does he look like? They're going to have to find out about Alfred Collins because they're going to need him quite a bit, especially if West is out for any appreciable amount of time. So Alfred Collins, definitely want to see him tonight. Maybe the two highest rated guys in the last game were Connor Colby and Drew Moss. And, Ben Barch is out with the elbow injury. Connor Colby, I think, has got an opportunity to step in at left guard and never look back. And nothing against Barch. I love Barch. Barch is one of my favorite guys to talk to. He's a great guy. But he's had a lot of problems staying healthy. Where Colby, either he's lucky or he's tough, but he had 50 starts at Iowa. This guy did nothing but start and start and start some more. He looked really good. He's when Chris Furster told me that Connor Colby was just like Dom Pooney in that he can pass block effectively as a rookie, and then if you can pass block, you can play. That told me that they, in their minds, have Colby in a totally different category than a lot of rookies. And he's an eligible guy to start and to maybe be, a foundation piece. I could see a day, and Drew Moss at center or Drew Moss at guard, I think both those guys are going to get a lot of run today. I'll be watching Drew Moss and Connor Colby and to see how effective the 49ers pass block and run block with their two young offensive linemen in the interior. I think both those guys are future starters. I think Moss is maybe a future starter at center. He looks kind of a center build. Colby definitely, I think, is a starter at guard. Heck, if the Niners in the 7th round could draft a starting guard, and in 2 drafts they wound up with their future guard tandem for the next decade in Colby and Pooney, that's good. That's really good. So I'm looking for that tonight. One of the main things I'm looking for tonight is I'm looking for the real Nick Martin. I watched Nick Martin at Oak State. Nick Martin hadn't played. When he played last week against Denver, he hadn't played in a year and a half. Yeah, they don't go live in practice for linebackers ever. You're never, ever hitting like you would in the game in practice. So there is nothing to replicate game conditions other than games. And that was his first game in over a year and a half. And I just feel like Nick Martin overran some plays. People graded him out so harshly when this guy was showing sideline to sideline range. He's keying and diagnosing very quickly. He is firing gaps and rolling downhill with aggression and violence. And I saw everything I wanted to see except for the clean finish, right? He fell off some blocks. He missed some blocks. He took some bad steps. He looked a little hyperactive. He looked a little nervous. He looked like he was a little out of place. That's not the Nick Martin that Niner fans are going to enjoy. Nick Martin that you're going to enjoy is going to hit home. He's going to bring ball carriers down. He's going to sack the quarterback. He's going to come away with the big hit. So I'm looking for game 2 to be much more like the Nick Martin that I expected to see in throughout the summer. Linebacker, learning this defense. I mean, you can see D. Winters is so much faster this year than last year and the year before because he knows the defense. Tatum Bethune looks way, way better this year than last year. Why? Well, he's in better shape, but he knows the defense. The one thing Nick Martin doesn't have that those guys have is he doesn't have the reps and all the time in this defense to know all the nuances. But that aside, this guy's a freak athlete. He's a great football player. He was productive as hell at Oak State, and he's going to be productive as hell here. But today, I want to see Nick Martin go off because the Nick Martin that I've been backing and talking about is a Pro Bowl caliber player. And I expect to see that. And I really do think we'll see it, maybe starting today. Today may not be a bigger day for anybody than Jacob Cowing. It's his time, all right? He was a 4th-round pick last year. He struggled with not having enough strength, not having enough experience. Then this year, before training camp even begins, he's got the hamstring injury. He's out. Now he's back on the field. He was catching punts this week. He was running patterns. He's a 4th-round pick. He's not a 1st-round pick. If you're a 1st-round pick, he probably still could be on scholarship for another year. But he's a 4th-round pick from last year, so he's no longer on scholarship. And that means he needs to put something on tape to show these coaches and show his teammates and show the Niner organization what they have in Jacob Cowing. Today is his time. Today is his time to bust out and put something on film that everybody goes, oh, yeah, that's why we took this guy in the 4th round. Oh, yeah, we forgot we got that guy. We're not as desperate at wide receiver because we got this guy and this guy's ready to roll. The Niners thought he was going to take a huge step forward, and I think he has, but the injuries have prevented us from seeing it. Tonight, if he gets out there on the field, I want him to see the ball, and I want to see big plays from Jacob Cowing. I want Niners Raiders today to be the Jacob Cowing coming out party as far as his statement that I belong in the NFL and I'm not just a scrub player, I'm a big-time player. So I believe in Cowing. I always have. I know he needed to get stronger. He did get a little stronger. Today is his day. He's got to make it happen here in the preseason. He's got to show in this Raider game and in the Charger game that he's got some juice, that he's got something to contribute, that he's special. There's a lot of bodies here at wide receiver, and they can easily go with somebody else and quit the Jacob Cowing experiment any point along the road. So if he drops a bunch of passes tonight, if he gets hurt, if he looks bad, if he doesn't, if he just doesn't look NFL today, then he could have a tough time making this roster. If he can put something really good on film, I think he can kind of solidify his spot going forward. Another big one tonight. The Niners don't have a third tackle. Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz are pretty good tandem up front, but Pleasance has struggled with speed. He's also gotten bull rushed. Burford has struggled badly with speed. Isaiah Prince has long arms, but he's not much of an athlete. He seems kind of like a waist bender. He doesn't bend his knees that much. I don't know that the third offensive tackle that the Niners need is on this roster. It might be, but it might not. He might not be, and they may have to invest some draft capital in a 11th hour trade to bring in some tackle. You can't just say, well, we'll just fake it. No, you can't fake it. You paid Brock Purdy $265 million. You can't leave the front door wide open. I mean, that's seriously, it's like Brock Purdy's like a fancy security system, but you left the garage open by not having a tackle, or you left the back door open. You can't do that, or you're just going to get robbed, right? And you can't not protect your franchise quarterback, or you're going to get him killed. So there you go. I want to see what Burford's got. I want to see what Pleasance has got. I want to see what Isaiah Prince has got. In fact, I will probably be watching this the most carefully. No more excuses. I don't want to hear about excuses. Well, it was a busted formation. Oh, well, he thought he was getting a combo block. Oh, he thought he was getting help here. Do your job. Block the guy in front of you. Get off the ball. Show you can handle speed. Show you can handle a bull rush. Play tackle. There are very few guys who transition from guard to tackle for a reason, because it's almost impossible to do. And if you had tackle ability, you would have played tackle. They pay tackles a lot more than they pay guards. So we discovered our tackle and he's actually our guard. That's not going to work, and it's already kind of proven not to work. So if they want to get Purdy killed, then go with what they got. If you don't want to get Purdy killed, then you'll be really, really, really adamant, like I am, about finding this third tackle. So Burford, can you pass block? If you can, let's see it. Pleasance, can you pass block? If you can, let's see it. And Isaiah Prince, if those guys fall on their face, are you ready to step into that spot and show that you're the third tackle? To me, this is a big, big thing going into the next two games. They got to find a third tackle. And maybe it's Burford, but it didn't look like he has not looked like the third tackle at all this summer. He can't handle speed rushers. And guess what exists in the NFL? Speed rushers. You got Boye Mafe coming off the edge in week 1. If Trent Williams can't go, you're gonna trust Spencer Burford, come out of his stance and block that guy, that speed rusher. He hasn't blocked a speed rusher at all this summer. Huff is blowing by these guys in practice like they're not even getting out of their stance. So Prince at least has 35, 36-inch arms. He's got an NFL body. He's played some tackle. I don't know. Maybe he's the answer. Maybe he's not. I doubt he is. But so there you go. I'm looking at offensive tackle. The other thing I'm really looking at is there's a huge decision the Niners have coming up. They got two young corners that they desperately need to keep in Jacob Robinson and Terrell Luter. Luter almost had an interception last week and has made a couple plays in the last few weeks in practice, looking better and better as we go. Gus Bradley says he gets better every day. Jacob Robinson has a PBU on the regular and ran 4.36 at the for the stopwatch coming out of BYU, and had 11 career interceptions. If these guys hit waivers, they will be claimed. The Niners also have a guy in Saron Neal, who's a special teamer who is running with the twos at special teams on the coverage units, and yet he's guaranteed $2.25 million. So who's going to make the roster? Is it the guy that's guaranteed $2.25 million, or are the good young corners that potentially can play from scrimmage if Upton Stout or Demo or Renardo go down? Are those guys going to be prioritized? I would always prioritize the corner who can play from scrimmage over the special teamer. The Niners, though, have prioritized their cash the last couple of years. They cut Samuel Womack. They cut Deshaun Jameson because they had money invested in Isaiah Oliver and Isaac Yiadom. And we'll see if they side with Jed's cash or if they go for the better young player. There was this quarterback named Nate Sudfeld. They'd guaranteed him $3 million. There was a lot of Niner beat writers that the day before the cutdown were like, they're going with Nate Sudfeld because they guaranteed him $3 million. Somehow the Niners came to their senses and said, screw Jed's $3 million. We're keeping this other guy. His name's Brock Purdy. That worked out pretty well. Getting rid of Womack for Yiadom did not work out well. Getting rid of Jameson for Isaiah Oliver did not work out well. And if you get rid of Jacob Robinson and Darrell Luter for Saron Neal, that's not going to work out well. So I'll be looking at those three guys very closely to see if Robinson and Luter deserve roster spots over Neal. And I'm waiting for Neal to do something. You're a second-team special teamer that got paid $2.25 million. Show up. He hasn't made a play all summer. I've yet to see Saron Neal really make any consistent plays. He's made a play or two in practice, but I'm waiting for game time for him to step up and show. If you're a special team, monster, then go down on special teams and blow somebody up. I want to see Saron Neal make a special teams impact, and I want to see Darrell Luter and Jacob Robinson make the roster over him. So I'll be looking at them. A couple other guys. The Niners just signed a defensive end, William Bradley King. He's got some juice. I liked William Bradley King in the lead up to the draft. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what he's got. I think he's got a little something. I'll be watching him in the fourth quarter. And then my man Stone Blanton. I made the prediction that Blanton would wind up with one game in the preseason with 10 plus tackles. I think that's tonight or today. He's hyperactive. He knows the defense. He's flying around. He's going to make some plays. Right now, he's not slated to make the team. Right now, he's slated to be a practice squad guy. In some ways, I'm kind of rooting for and against Blanton. I'm rooting for him because I want to see it, right? I want to see this guy show some of the skills that he showed in college. He had 18 tackles in a game. He was second in the SEC in tackles. On the other hand, if he has a big tackle performance, there's a very good chance he gets picked off off the waiver wire at the cutdown. So, I want to see Stone Blanton show some flashes because it's time to show some flashes. It's the preseason. But at the same time, I don't want him to be so good that all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, if you put him through waivers, he's gone. Because then you're going to lose a good football player. So I hope Stone Blanton can play just well enough to impress the Niners, but not too good to impress the other teams in the league so they can slide him through waivers on the 26th onto their practice squad. I don't want to get rid of Stone Blanton. I want him here going forward. So there you go. I want to see Purdy move the first team offense and then show me Conor, Collins, Colby, Moss, Martin, Cowing, Burford, Pleasance, and Prince, Robinson, Luter, and Neal, William Bradley King, and my man Stone Blanton. All right, enjoy the game. Go Niners. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corners, Sports Cards, and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.